back to Honors Biology. So today we're going to be working through incomplete and codominance problems. So let's start with incomplete dominance. So incomplete dominance, what that is it's where neither form of the gene, so neither allele is able to mask the other. So imagine in flowers, okay? We have red and white flowers, like roses. In roses, we have red and white roses. Well, if you cross a red or white rose, you get a pink flower. So what happens is in incomplete dominance, then the phenotypes blend together. So we don't see neither the red or the white. Instead, we see pink. So with incomplete dominance, the phenotypes blend together and we don't see either red or white. Snapdragon petal colors down here, this is an example of that. We see pink and not red or white. How we write them is kind of different. So we write them as, because we don't know which trait, which allele is dominant over the other, because it's incomplete. So to help show that, we use this system here, where we use R to represent the gene that codes for flower petals, and then we just use 1s and 2s to represent the different versions of it. So R1 is red. So for a trait to be red, it needs R1, R1. For a flower to be white, it needs to have R2, R2. And then if you have R1, R2, it's pink. So there's your blended trait there. So if we were to look at a problem, so it says in a plant species, if the B1 allele, or blue flowers, and the B2 allele, white flowers, are incompletely dominant, B1, B2 is light blue, and what offspring ratio is affected in a cross between a blue flowered plant and a white flowered plant? So what you would do is how you set up is the same. So you would set it up as, so we're crossing a blue flowered plant. Well, for it to be blue, it needs both B1 alleles. So for blue, we need both B1s. So I'm going to write that as the best I can with a mouse. Oh, that's supposed to be a 1. B1 up here. And then it says a white flowered plant. Well, white's B2. So for it to be white, we need both B2 alleles. Sorry, the mouse is acting up. Well, then you just drag and drop. So B1, B2. This is not easy. B2, B1, B2, B1, B2. Okay, so you have both B1 and B2. So then you just look at what you got. Well, every box here has a B1, B2. So that means then that all of our offspring, we're gonna get 100% light blue, because they're incompletely dominant. So if you have B1 and B2, it's light blue. So we're gonna have, whoops, let me cross it out. So we have 100%, sorry about that, 100% light blue. So that's what we got. So if we were to look at another problem, Oompas have red, blue, or purple hair, depending on what their combinations, and that's incompletely dominant. So to get purple hair, we need a red trait and a blue trait. So the purple-haired Oompa marries a blue-haired Oompa. What are the phenotypic and genotypic ratios? So you would just set this up the same as before. Right? You would draw your Punnett square. Just like that. So it says red hair, purple hair. Well, purple hair is H1, H2. H1, H2. And then there's a blue hair. So blue is H2, H2. H2, H2. Well, then again, you just fill in your Punnett square. I don't know why it's doing this. be honest with you. H2, H2, H1, H2. So then in the end, what we get is half of our boxes are purple, right? Half of these boxes here are going to be purple because we have the H1 and the H2 in there. And the other half, just the H2, is going to be blue. So all of these guys over here are going to be blue. So what's nice about incomplete dominance is that your phenotypes are going to be the same as your genotypes. Because if you have a different genotype, you're going to have a different phenotype here. You can either have red, blue, or purple. So that's what makes them nice. So that's incomplete dominance. Now we also have codominance, which is similar but different. In codominance, both alleles are expressed. So before in incomplete dominance, we couldn't see either trait, right? Like with red and white flower petals, we saw pink, so we didn't see the red or the white. But in here, though, what we got is that the red and white flower, we see clearly both red and white. So both are clearly expressed. We see both alleles there. Same thing with Ronin cows. We see Ronin cows are made from red and white colored cows. And we see both of that clearly expressed. We see the red hair and the white hair. So both are clearly expressed. So make sure you keep incomplete and codominant, or incomplete and codominant separate from each other. Sometimes students will like to kind of mush them together and think they're the same thing. They're not. Incomplete dominance, we can't really tell what alleles are present there because we don't see either allele. And in codominance, both alleles are clearly expressed. So for codominance problems, it's very similar to incomplete dominance, but we use, instead of like the R1, R2 system or H1, the letters with the number system, we just use uppercase letters to represent that. So cattle can be red, so if they're red, they have both red alleles, so all red hairs. Or they can be white, which is, they have all white hairs. Or if they have a mixture between red and white, they have red and white hairs. So it says, predict the phenotypic ratios of an offspring when a white cow is crossed with a Ronin bull. Well, Ronin bull, we know is R and W. So that just goes right here. And then white cow is WW. So that goes down here. And you just fill in your crosses. I'm just gonna do the R first. Yeah, and then W, 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 W. So there you go. So what we got, Lynn, is that 50% is going to be Ronin because they have red and white hairs, and the other 50% is going to be white because they have WW. There you go. So that's how you do. So that's incomplete and codominance, and that's how you do each set of the problems. The biggest thing is just recognizing the difference between incomplete and codominance. Make sure you understand the difference between the two. That incomplete is a phenotypic blending. So red and white gives us pink, so we don't see the red or the white. And then in codominance, we see both traits clearly expressed. So red and white, in codominance, we clearly see both red and white. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you later. Bye.